is a new segment where we take a look at immigration myths and lies the open borders crowd uses to sell us their snake oil. We hope it will provide you with the tools you need to counter these bogus and historically illiterate arguments. The Statue of Liberty, one of the most potent symbols of America. People the world over recognize the Great Green Lady instantly, with the sure belief that she stands as a one-woman welcoming committee to foreigners coming to the U.S. She has, to be sure, long been perceived as just that, to the point that we are taught, and don't question, that was her original purpose. But was it? Designed by Frederick Auguste Bartholdi, she was a gift from the people of France to mark the centennial of America's Declaration of Independence. Amidst political turmoil in France, the gift aimed to recognize the continued Franco-American alliance, proclaim the glories of the still new American Republic, and rebuke repressive nations everywhere. Hence the name, Liberty Enlightening the World. So how do we go from enlightening to Mother of Exiles? Starting in the 1920s, essentially the same open borders cabal that drives immigration matters today began to agitate for looser immigration laws after the remarkably effective 1925 Immigration Act was passed. This was a loose coalition of business, clergy, and immigrants themselves who began to twist the actual meaning of the Statue of Liberty into a shape more useful to their efforts to yank the doors off America's immigration policy. Again, funding for Liberty Enlightening the World was provided through a series of fundraising events. Emma Lazarus, a little-known poet, was asked to donate a poem for auction to contribute to the American-built pedestal. The poem quickly fell into obscurity until philanthropist Georgina Schuyler found it in the poet's possessions after her death. She then had a plaque made, dedicated to Lazarus, not Open Borders, which was hung inside the statue and promptly forgotten for 40 years or so. Enter Yugoslav-born journalist Louis Adamic, who began to explicitly hijack the history of liberty enlightening the world, and morph her message from a stern rebuke to those nations refusing to embrace freedom to a Walmart greeter-style welcome. We understand what a welcome and inspiring sight Lady Liberty must have been to the masses who came here seeking a better life, how the first glimpse of the statue jutting into the sky marked their long-awaited arrival to a land with so much promise and opportunity. Our beef is not with what liberty enlightening the world means to any individual on a personal level. It's with the statue's history being hijacked, with the factual, political, and educational dishonesty that has been perpetrated against our country using our very own much-beloved symbol of the great value this nation places on liberty. As James Fulford wrote, imagine a hypothetical foreign country with immigration problems explaining its policy this way. We used to have sensible immigration laws, but someone built this damn statue. You'd think they were mad. Yes, we would. So let's get real. The victim, Ruth Ann Storm, 49, of Laurel, Maryland. The accused, Rodolfo Esau Ramirez Grijalva, 30, an illegal alien from Guatemala. The charges: failure to remain at the scene of an accident involving death, negligent manslaughter, and obstructing an official investigation. The story: Ruth Ann Storm was walking along the side of the road on the night of November 25th when Ramirez Grijalva hit her, then took off. Storm was later pronounced dead at the hospital. Police found Ramirez Grijalva's car 9 hours later. He, his girlfriend, and 4 other friends made up stories and even people in their efforts to hide what had happened from the police. Finally, about to undergo a polygraph, his girlfriend admitted that Ramirez Grijalva had hit Storm, and he subsequently confessed. The irony, according to the police, is that Ramirez Grijalva had a valid Maryland driver's license. Had he remained at the scene, they say, likely he would have been cleared of all charges based on the poor weather conditions that night. They also say that it took several weeks to weed through the fake stories, made more difficult by the fact that having lived in the country for 9 years, Ramirez Grijalva only speaks Spanish. Storm was survived by her 15-year-old son, who, we're sorry to report, also lost his father this past year. Of course, if our government had been doing its job, getting and keeping illegal aliens out of our country, Ramirez Grijalva wouldn't have been here to hit, run, and lie his ass off about the death of Ruth Ann Storm, making this crime 100% preventable. The victim, a 12-year-old Connecticut girl. The criminal, Luis E. Torres, illegal alien from Guatemala. The crime, first-degree sexual assault. The story. Torres was convicted for having 2 sexual encounters with the 12-year-old girl when she slept over at his home, which he shared with his girlfriend. But that's baloney. You know why? This is America, and you can't have a sexual encounter with a 12-year-old. It's called statutory rape, and that's why he wasn't charged with and convicted of encountering the child. He was charged with and convicted of sexually assaulting her in the first degree. Not, mind you, that you'd know from his sentence. 5 years, then he'll face deportation. What a joke! The way our system works, he may well serve a couple of years, be deported, and then be able to sneak right back across the border before the girl turns 18 and do it all over again. Of course, if our government had been doing its job, getting and keeping illegal aliens out of our country, Torres wouldn't have been here to rape a child even once, let alone having a window of opportunity to do it again, making this crime 100% preventable. It is one of the cherished chestnuts of the Open Borders lobby that enforcement just doesn't work. Pundits as diverse as Ruben Navarrete and Linda Chavez insist that enforcement has been tried time and time again with no good result. Allow us to disagree. We don't think enforcement has ever been tried in a serious, sustained manner, which is why these stories from all over the nation are so interesting. Arizona. Undocumented customers disappear from Arizona businesses. Some Chandler businesses are taking a hit this holiday season as their main clientele, undocumented immigrants, leave the city as the state's new hiring law nears. New York. Sobbing invaders quit after immigration inquiry. Fresh Direct, the online grocery delivery operation that caters to affluent and overworked New Yorkers, lost dozens of employees this week after federal immigration officials notified the company that its employee records were under investigation. And even in Mexico. Mexicans thinking twice about U.S. jobs. Would-be immigrants may be staying home in significant numbers, a Mexican government survey says, a trend that analysts on Tuesday attributed to a crackdown on illegal border crossers, raids at employment sites, and a slowing U.S. economy. Psst! I've got a secret for you. Come a little closer. You know what? Enforcement works! As a matter of fact, it appears that the tiniest bit of enforcement pays huge dividends if the payoff you're looking for is the rule of law, not an illegally gained profit. Thanks for clicking in to this week's episode of the Blogs4Borders video blog burst. And if more illegal immigration news is what you crave, check out our extended show exclusively at technopatriots.com. Until next week, Godspeed, and God bless America.